Thank you for those beautiful instructions, Bhante. So I get the sense that right from the beginning of your encounter with Buddhism and with meditation, you dove right in. And I'm wondering if that's true, or if it was a more gradual process for you. And I'm also just really wondering, what is it that motivated you to engage so deeply with meditation to the extent of, really turning your whole life over to it? So what is it that motivates your Dharma practice?
Yes, well, if you read my history, as I started meditation in India, and I really dived into it actually without going into the metaphysics. I just wanted to meditate. In India, that time I was a student, and there was a lot of suffering, being in a new culture and eating new food, very hot food, and having no friends. I left my relatives back and friends back to Uganda, and I was really having this kind of stress, hard course, very hot weather. Uganda is not as hot as India. Everything that was very stressful. The course accounting I was taking was new to me. Everything was so hard. Then I heard about meditation, and I was feeling cool and calm, and said, wow, I got hooked up with this kind of meditation. And then I went to, of course, India. Northern India is called Dharamsala, where the Dharma stays. I had this course for 12 days, and that course was to take place in a place called Toshita Monastery, which is in Makroganj, where the city where His Holiness the Dalai stays. So now I heard about this course, and then I of course, a friend of mine helped me to sign up for this course. And then it was 12 days, and I meditated, and really, I felt very, very peaceful. I had more time than the beginning I had. So I dived into a 12 days retreat. Yeah, my first retreat. It was a Tibetan retreat. And of course, they were teaching also meditation. So now, because this is something new to me, I've been to chapels and churches. Nobody really guided me in meditation. So for me, when I really did meditation, it was so beautiful. I have never done something like that in my life. And it's so peaceful. And this peace was coming from within, not outside. So then I was hooked. And I found out the major motivation up to now that keeps me going is that freedom from suffering, from stress, from discomfort, and the peace. So it's two, the peace and happiness that I derive from when I have even a moment of meditation. I call M&M, minute meditation, however short but sweet, So of course, sometimes it's a bit rough, depends on the day, but it's okay also. I have learned to embrace every moment. So in simple, what keeps me going in meditation or Dharma practice is the freedom from suffering and stress, and also the happiness, peace that I derive from that. And then that's a primary motivation, but also I have a secondary motivation over the years that I found out that when I do that, then there's that wish to share with other people. In fact, that was the very thing that I did when I meditated in 1994 officially, when I did that retreat and 12 days, and I said, wow, I should bring this to Africa. I'm just entered, enter a point. I said I should take it to Africa. Immediately, I formed what they call Afro-Tibetan Friendship Society. And I formed up a board which was composed of people from Ethiopia, Kenya, and one secretary from England. I tell them, please, let's go and have what we call Afro-Tibetan Friendship Society. That was a huge dream, to make every African country understand what I've discovered. But it was premature because I was not a Buddhist confirmed, and I was not a monk. I had no established teacher. I had no temple in Uganda. No, so really I had that kind of push for my second motivation is that let me help this my fellow Africans that I left back home to understand what I've discovered. So I wanted to start with my brothers and sisters and old friends. I said, they should learn this one. Why has it taken us long to learn this? You know, I went to these schools in Uganda, we call them boarding schools, and they are Christian-based schools. So we go to every morning we go to the chapel before we go to the classes. So, but it's just a mass, you know, service, and then you don't go for 4 to 5 minutes in silence there. So for me, I had discovered something and I wanted to share with people. So in short, is freedom from suffering and having experience calmness and happiness and peace. That's a primary motivation. Second motivation that keeps me going is how can I share with other people so that they can also experience the same.
Beautiful. Sounds, as soon as you got a taste of that freedom for yourself, the first impulse of the heart was to share it as widely as possible. And that's really beautiful. Yeah.
Yes, but Rachel, this didn't happen actually, because that was back in 1994. And when I went to meet His Holiness the Dalai Lama and share about my dream, I went there and said, please, can you bless me so that I can do this work? He said, well, you have to get friends. I'm telling you, it took me over 10 years to find good friends, including teachers who could establish me in a Dhamma. And yeah, it took actually 10 years, over 10 years. Yes, since 1994. Then I established the center in 1995. 2005. That's almost 10 years.
Right.
That took me to USA to meditate for 3 months. I'm at IMS and to get friends like Joseph Goldenstein and Sean Schausberg and many other teachers. I got so many teachers in that span of 10 years, and that's how I was able to come back to Uganda and establish a center, and then I was able then to share with other people. So,
it's such a practice of patience, isn't it, to do the work over such a long time to see those causes and conditions come together to support that vision that you had. And so I'm curious about how, so it sounds like, in a sense, your meditation practice and your service are really intertwined. How would you say that your meditation practice supports your service work? You do so much in Uganda, at your site in Uganda. Maybe you could tell us a bit about some of those activities.
Yes, thank you very much. Actually, when I look at what I'm doing in Uganda and of course what my practice, I don't see a big difference. They seem to be blending in together. So first, when I look at my service, I'm doing social service here. So we have what we call water project. Water project, it came out to, actually we began in 2008, this water project, because there was a scarcity of water, clean water, drinkable water, clean water. So myself, I had this problem. I just came USA, where every day, even our water was tested. Whatever they were testing at our monastery in West Virginia, where Bhante Buddharakkhita is, I trained there. Water was very clean, and this was many years of staying in overseas countries where they had access to clean water. When I went back home, I found out still it was the same problem. We didn't have clean water. So even the temple was built using water from the lake, which was not clean. And when it came to drinking water. We didn't have clean water. So we fundraised money to get what we call spring well, or here we call them boreholes. So we dug one at the temple, and all the people used to come from different villages and get water from the temple. They didn't know about Buddhism. They just saw me in strange robes, and they're just looking like this. They could get water, and then they went back. So then I'm telling you, the demand was so high. So we had to establish more spring wells, and schools were lacking water. Then we gave the school water to the schools. So we found out that now we are like, on a school day, we're supplying water to 1,000 people. So, and the demand is still high. For I have requests now for almost 2 or 3 requests. 2 requests actually already. People, schools asking me to dig more water wells so that they can have access to clean water. So that's one project I'm doing here in Uganda. Buddhist Center, and now we moved on slowly by slowly. By the way, I learned this through the school of hard knocks. I didn't become a monk, start constructing wells and do this and this. No. This came along as we went. It was just unfolding organically what need to be done in a community, you know. So then actually after that, what I sensed that people here, they didn't have good communication skills. I would get volunteers here at the temple. In fact, our first volunteers were from the United States, and they could not speak with my mother and the children here. They didn't know about English. So even my cousins and nephews, they could not communicate very well. So I asked these volunteers, can you teach my relatives? And a few friends said, oh, we can teach them. My mother also. So they started teaching. And then I found out there was a need in a community to have what we call education. And then that's how education started, with 5 people actually. So now slowly the children start coming, and I want to tell them stories. We start teaching them mindfulness. And then I found out over time, I found children who don't go to school. And then I asked them why. They said, oh, I could not get school fees from my parents. Then I asked them, the parents, oh, what's happening? Oh, they say, oh, our job, because we stay near Lake Victoria. We stay near Lake Victoria, and the government closed these fishing activities. So because of poor fishing methods, so the government wanted to introduce new fishing methods. And that meant that many people could not now go fishing, and especially the husbands. And the wife could not get, of course, also enough money to take the children. So then I said, oh, why don't I create a school where the children don't have to pay school fees? They just come to the school, and then we get education. So then I created a school. So I created a school, but we don't have proper structures even up to now, because what happened is that the temple was leaking. So I just got all the roofing materials from the temple and replaced with new one, and the old one, instead of keeping them, we made a structure, temporary structure. So there, the school came with 12 children, and now we have other 12 children coming who are, by the time they closed, there were 12 children. And now that's baby class, then the middle, right? So that we have 24 children altogether who get free education from Uganda Buddhist Center. So the school there, and we have a vision, of course, to do because this is a preschool, we have about 36 students. Each of them is a 12. Because it's free, we cannot afford to pay school fees. So for them, so we just keep the number limited, because that's what we can afford from our funders. So now we want to build a primary school, a secondary school like this, because the need arose in the community. That's one of our projects. Now there's other project, offshoots of the same problem. As I told you, they closed the lake. Nobody can fish in the area, and we are near Lake Victoria on the shores. So now women, we are not having enough food. So what we did is to create what we call Women Empowerment Project, whereby women can do what called handcrafts and beads and sell them, they get income. And now the women are making sweaters for the children. So now at least instead of buying sweaters from shops, we tell them make socks and sweaters, and then they can now sell them and get some money. So now, then later on, I saw the youth also were missing out something. So we had what we call youth empowerment project. So now all those projects came actually organically, evolved organically, and they're all interconnected actually. With the water project, women empowerment project, youth project, and all this kind of thing that I've told you. Now, the question is, how does my practice really support this kind of social service? It supports them very well because I realized that when I practice mindfulness, there's no difference, because when I practice mindfulness, what's called right mindfulness, for the body, and then for the feelings, emotions, and mind states. So according to the instruction of the Buddha, we have to do that practice internally within you and externally, and both, in other words, internally and externally. So in other words, when we practice mindfulness, we have to pay attention to our needs, the needs of others. So that's mindfulness. And another practice I do, which is called Brahma Viharas, is the practice of loving kindness, compassion. Compassion. And the practice of compassion, appreciative joy, and equanimity. Right? It's just amazing that actually they're all connected. And when I do that practice, there's what we call connection. The underlying word is connection. You get connected first with yourself, then with others. In other words, you expand your connection. So you look at this as you start building what you call bridges between oneself and others. So there's no difference, right? So then you build bridges, you stop building fences, in other words, right? You build bridges, and then you connect with oneself, with others, as you send loving kindness. May I be well, happy, and peaceful. May your beings be well, happy, and peaceful. I ended my meditation like that. Also, may I be free from suffering and its causes. May all beings be free from suffering and its causes. So this translates like this. Most people, I think, miss it. Is when you do this practice, you have to do it in 3 areas. One, in your thoughts, in your words, and action. It has to be translated that way. It not only, okay, may all beings be well up and peaceful on a cushion. No. It has to be the way you speak also. It has to be also have that compassion and loving kindness. And also your action should be also really meaning that you are trying to alleviate suffering from helping other people to be free from suffering and causes. So now, when I do that, you remember mindfulness was attention, and the metta, loving kindness, compassion, appreciative joy, and equanimity is connection. So when you add attention from the practice of mindfulness and add it with connection, which is the practice of the 4 Brahma Viharas, then that combines together, then you really find yourself that, yes, the service you are doing is actually being translated into your meditation. In other words, meditation or Dhamma practice leads into service, social service, and social services leads to the practice. So that's what I feel like this. Let my Dhamma practice or meditation practice be my social service, and let my social services be my Dhamma practice. That's what I said. Or to put it in another way, Dhamma practice is social services at rest, and social services is actually Dhamma practice in action, whichever way you want to look at it. So there's no difference, wherever I'm standing.
Beautiful. That's a really inspiring vision of the seamlessness of this practice. I'm wondering if, so I have some more questions I could ask, but I'm wondering if anybody in the group has any questions they'd like to ask Bhante. You could either put your hand up and I'll call on you, or yeah, that's probably the most effective way to do it. But for right now, I'm just I'm really inspired by the way it feels like you've brought a lot of different skillful qualities to the forefront in this discussion. Just the the role of inspiration and this sense of a clear vision, and then the patience while the causes and conditions came together, but the persistence through all those difficulties, and then this real open-hearted merging of service and practice. So I guess what I'm curious about right now is how you feel like service has like this journey has changed you. Like what would you say? How would you say this freedom that you talked about has shown up for you in your practice?
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, with the practice I've done, I want to let you know that it's work in progress, but I can tell you some of the contributions, right, that are still coming along the way. So a few years of my practice, I see how they have contributed to what I'm doing now. 3 points I can tell you. 3 points. One is actually the practice has helped me to chip off a little bit my mental developments. Yes, my holding on to things, the practice has helped me to let go a little bit. My aversion towards these things, I see it's becoming less, and my confusion is lessening, and also my fear, because really, actually, it's not easy to have a center in the whole country, only one center, and nobody supports it. It all depends on my traveling outside, and people come. In fact, it's very interesting when people come to this center. They say, "Can I have this? Can I have this?" In other countries, like in Asia, it's the other way around. People bring something, you know. They bring toilet papers, they bring water, they bring this. So now, recently, actually, with the closure of the pandemic, we have got some, and we are in a Buddhist land. So now, actually, the Asian community have get it all together now, because they're not as busy, and also the Buddhist land. Now they have started, for 3 months they've done it, and I was ended yesterday. So now it's really even the fear of surviving. How am I going to survive? You know, I'm no longer traveling overseas to teach. You know, so I'm telling you also that fear has been helped by the practice. You know, so 4 things have been helped by the practice is my attachment to, as you know, anything. You know. Then aversion, and then confusion, and the fear. So my practice has contributed more on generosity, more of a little bit of a dose of loving kindness and compassion, a little bit of clarity and understanding, a little bit of courage, because I know all those are required to do this kind of work in Africa. So, like, for instance, I give you the opposite of my attachment is generosity. I'm able to give what we call respect to others, other religions, really, because this is a really religious country. So that one has helped me to have respect for other religious people here who always rub shoulder with me and have different ideas. Then giving time so that, because this temples and monasteries like babies, basically. You have to really give them time. You have to give time. Yeah, I have to give energy, effort. You know, this requires a tremendous amount of effort to this work. And giving attention. Things are leaking. roofs are leaking. Now birds have invaded us. Birds. So then I require tremendous amount of attention. It's amazing when I come to this monastery, I see this is going wrong. Other people, they just look and say, don't you have eyes? This need to be fixed, you know? So then I give attention, even attention to others. Many people want to meet me, you know? I have to give attention to others. I have also in many ways give material things. Forget about these countries in Asia whereby they really pour all material things to you. Here's the opposite. People come and say, my mother's sick. An operation, please, Bhante, help me, you know. So I give all that. So that's come from my practice. Second one is about the balance between compassion and wisdom. I didn't know how that. I didn't have that balance, you know. You see, I knew that okay, I need to help people, but also I was going off a little bit in the beginning, you know, and I was even putting around $300 my ticket to go to Kenya, and I was heading to Tanzania. I said, wow, I'm giving something out of compassion, but I didn't know the balance. So the practice has helped me to have also wisdom to know to what extent can I do something. So that also has come to the practice. Another one that comes from the practice that has contributed to my social services is what I would say equanimity, to have some equanimity that, okay, I want to help, but I can do so much. Yeah, you are suffering, I can care for you, but I may not stop you from what you're going through. Patience, it has helped me to give me patience, because sometimes even I help people and sometimes people don't even appreciate. Then also it has helped me to give effort, and it has also helped me give determination. I call that deep, deep, D-E-E-P. D stands for determination to keep going. E stands for the effort. That's called initial effort and sustained effort and non-stop effort. For me, I'm willing to go all the way through, you know, until I see the Dharma planted properly, and also the model I've created of social services and Dharma going together. So that's effort. And equanimity, that's another E, and P for patience. So we put in that deep, we see the balance of compassion and wisdom, and also we can see that kind of chipping off a little bit. So that's what Dharma has contributed to what I'm doing.
Thank you. That's a beautiful image of the balanced but relentless energy. I was touched in a previous conversation when you were talking about the way that you see these schools that you know the ones you're operating right now, and the ones you've envisioned, as well as the young people who are who have taken ordination in your monastery, the way that that's all being received by the local community. I'm wondering if you could say a bit about that.
Yes, actually, as you know, it's very, very difficult in this country to really give your children to embrace a new religion, right? Very, very difficult. And in Asia also, it's not easy. When I was in Sri Lanka, I thought, oh, because these people are born Buddhist, it's easier to give you a child in order to go forth. Yes, but here in Uganda is increasing, unsurmountable. I thought it's unsurmountable, but actually, when I saw my relatives, especially my sister, I say, okay, I want my child to become a novice monk, and we temporarily. So we started with temporary ordination, you know. So then that's not so much of a burden, you know. We say, okay, you can come for temporary ordination, 2 weeks, 1 month, like that. And we're still doing, we have that program actually. And we made it sure that it's flexible. So we don't strangle people. You must be here. In Buddhism is the best religion, or meditation the best. No, we say come and see for yourself. So in the net effect, we have children coming in and going. Sometimes we don't have them here. We normally do it during school holidays, and then we give them a chance to try. We give them a chance to try. So now, over the years, because we are giving water to the community, And also, we don't ask their people's religions. We cook food. When they come here, we just give food. We don't ask them, oh, what's your religion? What's your religion? No, for us, that's not the point. We don't ask them their religion. So they see us that we are doing what we call compassion in action, which is our motto actually. For the Uganda Boot Center, it's compassion in action. So now, by translating our Dharma into action in the community have seen for themselves. So, and I learned this model that if you want really to do something, you have to start from the eyes, what people see. So now I try to do many things so that people can see for themselves. Right. So now we have this project, Women Empowerment Project. People can see women, their livelihood is getting better. There's a difference in their livelihood, the youth, the children, the water, all this kind of thing. So now people are seeing. Now from that transition of seeing, you have to go the ears, right? So from the eyes, then the ears. Now, when those people came, sometimes we could have food during Buddhist holidays. We'll give food for them. And when I give food to the community, we invite them to the temple, then I put a little dose of Dharma of what generosity is all about. Because in Africa, we have a very beautiful saying which says that there's nobody who's too poor not to give, and there's nobody who's too rich not to receive. So then I would start with the African way of looking at generosity. I would teach them like that. So now I have their eyes, I have their ears. Now I go to their hearts. All right. So that's how it started, from eyes to ears to the hearts. So from the heart, then I would do my best to really to have compassion and mental loving kindness and meet these people and talk to them that I'm part of you and this is what I'm doing just for the benefit of you or whatever. You don't even have to be a Buddhist to come to the temple. So now slowly it came along. Actually it took time, and then I could see now parents saying, oh, can my child join you there in the temple? In fact, even today we had one child from a Christian family, and the mother wants the child to stay here. So today he was taking lunch here. So now also that evolved organically. And that's and I told you the transition from eyes to ears and to the heart. So now the net effect is that we have so many children here waiting to be ordained as a monks, and we have a building project going on to build accommodation for those novices, like 12 rooms, so that we can ordain more and the novices. And the same applies to the girls also. So plans are underway to make sure that they are accommodated at the Uganda Boot Center, so they don't have to come from home. So they can start Uganda Boot Center and go there to their respective schools while residing at Uganda Boot Center when they're in robes, because we found out that's the way to go forward so that they get immersed into mindfulness practice. So at the moment, actually, we have two building projects going on to really build accommodation for the novices. But parents give these children willingly. We don't even go outside and ask, please, can you bring your child here? No. It's causes and condition coming together to maturation, and then there's trust with the community and this bubble. I call it like a bubble. Yes, it's just in the middle of nowhere here. And the community, we try to create those conditions of Dharma practice. Yes.
Beautiful. I feel very nourished by everything you've shared, Bhante. Just this vision of showing people, as the Buddha said, come and see for yourself, and that open-hearted invitation, gradually reaching people's hearts and creating this atmosphere of trust. I want to respect your time and let you get to bed. So let's come towards our closing. If others on this call have been inspired by what Bhante has shared about his work and the work of the Ugandan Buddhist Center, you can, if you're in the States, you can make a tax-deductible contribution through Insight World Aid. And if you write a note with with your donation, we can direct it appropriately. There's a number of projects we've got open right now. So if you write a note directing the funds to the Uganda Buddhist Center, we can make sure it gets there. Our next presentation is going to be the first Sunday of December, when Greg Scharf and Carol Wilson are going to be talking about their longtime service project in Burma, helping to build schools and other other activities. Oh, right. Sorry, I should have mentioned also, if you're not, for Canadians, I know there's a number of us on the call. If you don't care to use, so there's no way to get a tax receipt, unfortunately. You can use PayPal to make a contribution to Insight World Aid. If you don't care to use PayPal and you're in touch with me, you can send me an e-transfer and I'll pass it on to Insight World Aid. Yeah, so next month, we're going to hear from Greg and Carol about their longtime service work, working with monastics and lay people in Burma, building schools and medical facilities, and the challenges that COVID has posed there. And yeah, so we're hoping to keep on making offerings like this to highlight the different projects that are going on around the world to bring service and practice together, as Bhante so beautifully described today. So Bhante, I'm wondering if you could close us off by offering the merit for tonight's practice.
Yes. So before I do that, I'd like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to Insight World Aid for supporting us during the hard times. During lockdowns here, and it was really a critical moment. So at this moment, I want to acknowledge their support that you gave us in order to buy a motorcycle and a refrigerator and some food. So that was something that I always remember in my memory. So for that matter, I'd like to do it in Pali, share, bless the work you're doing, and also do what you call sharing merit. So then I'll just then say a few words in English for the closing and reopening, all right? So I do it first in Pali as a blessing. Sabiti vajantu sabarogo vinasatumate vantantarayo skidi gaiko vivadana sidi sani chavuda pajaino chataro dhamma vantante ayuano sukambala vatsabba mangara rakant sabadevata sabba buddhan bhavena sabba dhamman bhavena sabba sanghan bhavena sada soti bhavantu te. Then imina punya kami na mame bara samagamo satam samagamo hotu yavani banapati. Idame nyatina hotu sukita hotu nyatayo. Idame nyatina hotu sukita hotu nyatayo. Idame nyatina hotu sukita hotu nyatayo. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. What I've chanted in brief, the blessings say that the one who gives Chattaro Dhamma in Pali means the four Dhamma, the one who give a long life, the one Yayu, Sukha, will give happiness, Bala, which is beauty, complexion, beauty, inner beauty, and spiritual strength, in other words, strength. But I would say spiritual strength. If you give those, you get that. And the blessing that may you have long life, happiness, strength, and inner beauty. That's what I said. And also with the sharing merit, I say, may all your meritorious deed that you've done bring happiness and peace to all beings. May all beings be well, happy, and peaceful. All beings. That's what I've said in Pali language. Thank you very much, and I wish you a good night. Oh, good afternoon there. For me, it's a good night here. Thank you very much for hosting this program.